Alrighty, I'll let that, so I've just got a video on loop in the background, so that will hopefully distract you all while I explain what it's about. So this is a problem that applies to utilities, it applies to mining companies, it applies to anyone who's got plant and equipment. Where that equipment requires maintenance, there are three approaches to maintenance. One is you wait until it breaks, then you fix it. This is an incredibly cost inefficient approach to maintenance. The second is preventative maintenance, where you allocate your maintenance based on the lifespan or expected lifespan of the components and the plant that you're looking to maintain. The final one is predictive maintenance, where you're looking to monitor the condition of the asset and therefore predict when the asset is about to fail, and then you can do just-in-time maintenance. So the difference between break-fix and predictive maintenance is the value proposition is anywhere between 30 to 40% as a rule of thumb in terms of cost savings. So you add up all the miners, all the utilities over Australia and New Zealand, you're talking a very, very big figure. So what this is for a water reuse utility out north of the city. So they harvest the stormwater, they push it through a wetland, then they pump it into an aquifer where they store it over winter, and then they have a whole bunch of customers who then they distribute the water during summer. So these could be market gardens, they could be sporting complexes, etc. So from their perspective, the pumping of the water is really important, because if at any point the pump fails, they have downtime. The customer, if they have a critical need to have constant flow of the water, it can have a severe impact on customer satisfaction. Not only that, you have operational reactiveness as well. So the challenge we had was to predict the failure of a subset of pumps. So we've just completed a discovery phase with the water utility. What you're looking at is the several variables for a specific pump. And so we've basically looked at this from the frame of system performance. So you can see up top, you've got pressure over speed or hertz. And you can see that over time before, as the video was running, you've got a drift to the right. And so what that means is for roughly the same amount of pressure, your pump is having to use more and more energy or hertz to deliver the same pressure. Now, this is historical data. We know when this pump failed. Working back from when the pump failed, we've then tagged that data as this is the wear that occurred just before the failure, right? So up on that top chart, we haven't done anything exciting really at all other than tag data. Down the bottom, however, what we've done is we've trained a machine learning algorithm to see if it can identify the difference between a normal state and a Walton state for the correlation between pressure and speed. All right, and so what you can see down the bottom is it is highly accurate, able to identify just under 100% accuracy. The pump has started to move into the wear phase. For the water reuse utility, it gives them roughly 4 to 6 weeks notice that the pump is about to fail. All right, so that's example number 1. Does anyone have any questions before I move on or fly through? Yep, all right. Sing out if you've got any questions. So let's move to the next one. So we have another problem here in the utility space. So there's a bigger problem, there's a more specific problem. The bigger problem is for time series data, how do I know when there's an anomaly? Right? So a lot of the feedback from operations of big asset owners and managers is that I don't know what I don't know. And so I have all this time series data and I just won't know when something is occurring unless I've set min and max thresholds that when something is occurring that is abnormal. So that's problem number 1. More rainwater specifically, what we've got here is Adelaide Hills wastewater utility. So anyone who's driven into the hills, you know you've got elevation. Wastewater is very simple from an engineering perspective. It goes out your sink, your toilet, your shower, and then it goes from pipes using gravity to a lower point where it reaches a pump. Right? So their problem is that during rainfall events, they have what they call ingress or inflow of rainwater into a wastewater line. So you think about what that means. That means that their wastewater treatment plant needs to be a certain size to manage the rainwater that they're having to treat as well as the wastewater. Wastewater treatment plants and pipes cost multiple millions of dollars for your CapEx and your OpEx as well. So what these guys want to do was to do some discovery and to confirm the hypothesis that it was rainwater causing the anomalies. So we've got a pump station. You can see starts of January last year. And we're looking at rainfall on this left-hand y-axis. On the right-hand side, we've got flow. And so in blue is the rainfall. And you can see actually they have a flow event where there was no rainfall early on, and the anomaly detection wrapper that's getting fed the real-time data is picking up that it's a mild anomaly based on that distribution of data. Right? So from an ops perspective, this might be part of their triage of their action, and it might be a case of we're going to ignore this. Right? And then a few days later, they have a similar flow event, and it just touches severe. These categories are mild and severe. We've kept it simple. We could have 12 categories if we needed to, but for the sake of today and showcasing this, we keep it simple to 2. And you can see that visually there's clearly no correlation there. Then there is actually a rainfall event where it does rain, but the flow, while it does spike a little bit, there's nothing severe there. And then we move to a more significant rainfall event, and it moves into the severe category, etc. And so you can see later on there's rainfall events that don't even touch severe or mild. So what this is giving them is that triage ability to understand the context of that particular asset and how rainfall is impacting and whether there's other causes there as well. Yep, all good? So I'll move on to the next one. All right. So this is in utility space again. This was an R&D partnership. We're based at the Tonsley Innovation Precinct with one of our fellow companies down there. Now, they have a pump rig that they use for training, and it has a whole bunch of sensors on it. Out in the wild, one of the common problems is if you go back to that pump we were talking about in the hills, what happens after the pump is it pumps through a pressure network or the rising mains network up to wastewater. So one of the common problems is you have some sort of choke in that network, and you can imagine wastewater chokes in your network. The worst thing you can imagine happens down the streets, etc. You have environmental repercussions, you have legal repercussions, you have financial repercussions, as well as your obvious operational impacts as well. So what we were able to do with our R&D partners was pull out the data from their test rig, and we were able to simulate some standard flows of a pump. But what we're also able to do was simulate a choke. So it actually has a manual valve that you can crack as the pump's pumping through. And so we, for 5 to 10 seconds, simulated a choke, which commonly happens, where you have a temporary choke during a cycle that would just go completely unknown. You could have one of these every cycle. You could have one of these a day. You know, it's just unknown. So the choke has occurred down here on this device, and what you can see out here is the grey is in actual. So that's the actual just for the flow measurement. And we've using SageMaker and DeepAR, we've created a prediction engine that's able to predict the future values of the actual, which is the deeper purple line. And for those who can see it, there's a shaded lighter purple. This is our confidence of that prediction. So you can see that it's pretty tight. It's highly confident around the cycle itself. And as the cycle ends and picks up again, it kind of goes out with its confidence and comes back in. So in terms of this anomaly, how do we identify it? So we build an engine that predicts the flow value. We've simulated, so we know exactly, we have a label for that data, we know exactly where it occurs. And so what we did was we looked at because we have an accurate prediction engine and we have the actuals, we just take the difference. And the difference is this sort of green line that you see going through the middle. And then we plus minus 3 standard deviations, and you can see that gives us really solid banding for normal behaviour. Now, it's really hard to see because of the resolution of the screen, but what actually occurred here is the green line jumped out of that banding. So this was clearly an abnormality occurring in that pipe network.